Hey, this is Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, and this week I am doing a Matchbox K-7. This is kind of a special project, and it came out really good. Hope you guys enjoy it. As usual, if you like what you see, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of all future videos. Alright, so I have this, I would consider it mint, but before everybody jumps all over me for customizing this, he has tons of these, and this one is probably in the worst shape out of all of them, and it's still better than most. Looked like it had already been taken apart. There's a screw in the bottom, so as far as drilling and tapping and everything else, I kind of left alone. I'm using the same screw that he had. As you take it apart, it's fairly simple. It's got the lift gate, which is held in by that black piece that I just took out for the bed. And the interior just kind of slides out once you figure it out. It's being, the headlights and grill is kind of stuck in the front. Glass pops right out. And the horns on the top are actually riveted, well, not riveted in, just kind of peened over. It's the plastic piece, so I'm just going to take the edge off and then pop it through with my prick punch, and they come flying right out, no problem. The wheels, really good shape. I mean, most people probably die to have them. Just held in with the little plastic pieces like most Matchbox suspensions. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use, I got this 16 gauge stem wire for floral arrangements, and they work perfect on these big time muscle wheels. I actually took 3 cars to get and took the back tires off of all of them. I found 3 that were the same that I had in my collection, and I only use them for the wheels anyway, so I think it went to a pretty good cause. You can see right there, it looks pretty slick. They're about the same height. They might be a smidge lower, but here I'm going to use this plastic styrene as like wheel spacers to get them out there just far enough. But it worked out really good. I didn't show you the stripping process because it took me forever. This thing was so big I didn't have anything to, I had to strip it in 2 pieces. I had to do the front, let it set, and then do the back, just because I didn't have a tub big enough to hold it. I'm used to much smaller vehicles. But it worked out. Everything came off really easy. This citrus strip worked perfect. Pretty much go over it with a wire brush, then I steel wool it. There was some imperfections on it, but overall, actually, it's a very clean casting. There was a little bit on the front where it wraps around, almost like a visor for the windshield. You can see me filing it right there. It was just a little rough. It wasn't too bad, but I'm putting a lot of work into this, and I want to make sure it looks really good. And I'm kind of guilty in the past of just strip it, paint it, and not doing any tons of body work. But this one I tried. There was a little bit rough edges on the back, so I'm just kind of smoothing those over a little bit as well with a file. Nothing fancy. It didn't need tons, but just something that was a little rough. So I figured with the paint it would kind of stand out a little bit. I wanted to have some exhaust stacks on this, so I'm using 2 sizes of aluminum tubing from K&S, 3/16 and 1/16, and the 1/16 fits inside, so all I'm doing is kind of fitting it in there. I'm cutting it to the top of the roof, and then I'll stick the 1/16 in and cut it on an angle so it grooves, so it looks like a stack. But yeah, it fits right. The 3/16 and the 1/16 are perfect. But in order to get them in there, I have to cut this the bed out a little bit and just kind of notch the corners because of where I want to put it and how I wanted it to assemble after the fact. It was just easier to notch the corners, and then what I did is I just drilled a pilot hole all the way through the base where that end would actually sit. So it worked out pretty good, and what I'll end up doing is using that same stem wire, and that'll go all the way through and sit on the chassis, and it'll stick up, and it'll allow me to put the stacks onto that, so it kind of gives me something a little bit sturdy to glue to and help keep it straight when I do it. So you can see there, I'll actually show you right there, so you can see the stem wire right there, and it works out perfect. This thing was a nightmare to, it was so heavy. My helping hands needed helping hands. So I've got them both, everything stripped. I'm going to go with my Stino Res and give everything a quick coat of gray primer. And I went with gray because it was a certain color I was trying to match. I had some parameters on this, and the customer wanted a certain red, and I bought a deep red, especially for this project. But I figured with the white primer as a base, it would end up being a little too light. I've had that happen in the past, so I decided to go with gray. The doors, I jammed them first, and then I pretty much blew through some primer on this. It's a big casting, to say the least. And then I'm going to end up, I put some Wicked Silver down as a base on top of that, and then I'm going to go with this red. And like I said, I bought this, and I still have the cap on the paper. So the big thing with this was the sheer amount of paint I had to mix up, and I ended up painting it multiple times. Not because I screwed up, just because I wanted to get a nice thick coat on it, because I ended up wet sanding it, and then because there was a couple, I wouldn't say imperfections, but a couple little dust mites that I just wanted to make sure I got rid of, and I wanted a nice deep paint. So you can see me jamming here, and in about a second it's going to fall off. Okay, I lied. It's coming up, trust me. But jamming everything really helps. That allows you to close the doors after and not have to worry about missing anything. And there we go. That was me swearing because it pissed me off. But fortunately, I had just been jamming it, and then I fell again. Now I'm getting irritated. But I got it all secured. And fortunately, like I said, I was just jamming, so it didn't land on anything wet. This casting was so much fun. When you do a 1/64 scale and you get into something a little bit bigger, it's like the world is your oyster. You can kind of do whatever you want. The details stand out more. It was just so much, so enjoyable to actually do this, and be able to get at everything and have so much of a canvas to work with. So what I ended up doing was I put a second coat. Now I'm going to put a metallic sparkle paint on, and it's called Cosmic Sparkle. You can see I got a brand new air gun. Actually, I've had that for a while. That's a Eclipse, and it goes with my brand new compressor. I finally got rid of my pancake compressor and decided to go with one that everybody else is using, and I think it solved some of my issues, because I was having some paint issues, and I believe it was condensation in the airline and in the tank. I printed up some special decals. I designed them, I measured them all out, and you need a knife, a decal sheet, a straight edge, a pair of scissors that you're not supposed to run with, and a pair of forceps or pliers, tweezers, whatever works for you. And I really didn't use any of it except for the scissors. He wanted the number 613, which has got a lot of meaning to him, and he told me he wanted an Outlaw Speed Shop vehicle. So he wanted Team Outlaw Speed Shop with the 613. And this is part one, technically, of a bigger build, because he's got some vehicles to go with this. So this is just phase one, so I actually get to keep this kicking around for a while. But I used some white Testors decals. I actually have had good luck with these. I could have gone with the clear, but it wouldn't have popped, especially with a dark red. You're limited what you can do because you can't print white, obviously. Then there's just my Molotov pen, trying to get some details. I wanted to do the horns on the top. They were a little oxidized. I thought the chrome would make it pop a little bit more, especially on the red. And I put like 3 coats of clear on this thing after I did all my decals. But before that, I'm just going to go through with some lead belcher from Citadel and highlight some of the certain areas that I can do with the paintbrush. And then I'm going to go, which I don't show, but because it would be pretty boring watching me do it, but I ended up using a silver Sharpie for some other areas on the sides. And then to keep the chrome theme going, the grill was like a gray, the same color as the base. So I did that in chrome as well. Again, it's just to accent and kind of pop with the tires, with the rims. Then it's just a matter of assembly. This thing is just so fun to work with. I can't even, it was just such a pleasure. I'd love to do more of these. Actually, and he's going to be sending me another one to do something completely different with. But I can't talk about that right now. So anyways, if you notice, I also put the 613 on the tailgate as well. But everything just kind of fits in nice and neat. You can kind of see. You can't forget to do the bed, which I forgot how it went in for a second there. You got to set the tailgate underneath that, and it kind of holds it in place and allows it to hinge on that black piece. And it just kind of all pops in. Again, this is such a big thing. I had to rearrange my workbench and everything. It was really cool. It was nice for a change. And I think it came out wicked cool. I'm so glad that he sent it to me. I was a little nervous at first that I was going to screw it up, and especially when you're doing something for somebody else. But I'd like to thank all the Patreon members: Chris Smith, Joey Williams, Kristen Stanaland, Jim Silva, Alvarez's Diecast Customs, Stephen Mance, and William Robinson. Their links are down below for those that have Facebook pages and YouTube links. Please check them out and show them some love in a totally platonic way. So other than that, the project itself really was just, I mean, it was meant to begin with, so it was kind of fun to destroy it a little bit. You can see the metallic. I actually took it outside. But if this is something you guys like, it wouldn't even fit on my stand, my rotator. So, but anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. If this is something that you guys like, make sure you subscribe and comment down below, good, bad, and different. And I will catch you on the next one.